Hey everybody, I'm the Ranting Monkey, and today I have a message for Hank Green. Dear Hank, before I begin, I'd like to tell you I'm a fan of your work. I really enjoy the Vlog Brothers you do with John. I also like some of the other channels you created, and I really like what you guys did with Vidcon. I know it's a very personal thing for you, and I know you guys put a lot of time and effort into getting that to what it is today. That said, I'd really like to talk to you about the Anita Sarkeesian situation. By now, most of us have seen the footage. For those of you who haven't, here it is.
Right? If you Google my name on YouTube, you get shitheads like this dude who are making these dumbass videos that just say the same shit over and over again. And like, I hate to give you attention because you're a garbage human. Whatever, dude.
Yeah, so that happened. Hank, I was waiting to see what your response would be, and today I got my answer, and I gotta be honest with you. I'm kinda disappointed. What I'm about to read is from a document called Vidcon Debrief. The subtitle reads, "With the benefit of a couple days, here are 2 things we wanted to talk about." Now I'm going to skip the first one because it doesn't really matter to me and it's not important to this situation. We're moving down to the second point because that's where you talk about what happened with Anita. Now I realize you didn't write this whole thing, but there is part where your action is specifically mentioned.
Who's harassing whom? Vidcon has a tagline. It's for people who love online video. But of course, in addition to celebrating, this event has also always been about confronting difficult issues our community faces. It is openly known that women on the internet are subject to far greater amounts and intensity of harassment and abuse than men.
Okay, sorry, gotta stop you here. That's not true. The document on your screen is from a Pew Research poll in 2014 discussing online harassment. Quote, "Overall, men are somewhat more likely than women to experience at least one of the elements of online harassment, 44% versus 37%. In terms of specific experiences, men are more likely than women to encounter name-calling, embarrassment, and physical threats." And looking at the graph, there's only 2 situations where women are more likely to be harassed than men: stalking and sexual harassment. In every other category, men are more abused online than women. Now, does this prove definitively that men are more harassed than women? Of course not. But what it does do is call into question the validity of your blanket statement that women are just harassed more. You make this claim with no proof. You just say it and we're supposed to believe it. Why? Well, because people like Anita Sarkeesian repeat it constantly, ignoring the fact that men get abused online just as much, if not more, than women do. Okay, picking up where we left off.
This is a pattern and it's pervasive. Running this event, we have to be aware when a creator has potentially dangerous harassers or stalkers, and our list for our female creators is a whole lot longer than the list for the male creators.
Which of the ever so intimidating people sitting quietly listening to what was going on stage was a potential harasser or dangerous? Specifically, give me a name.
That's just one reason why we had a panel called Women Online, featuring women who had received a variety of kinds of abuse, from repeated sexual advances to stalkers to years of targeted harassment.
The really curious part is why you didn't have men up there who experienced the exact same thing. Joey Salads was moved away from the microphone for asking why they never talk about men being harassed online. It was considered a stupid question. Why is that a stupid question? Just because you have decided women are more harassed? You keep repeating it as though it's just fact. The fact of the matter is, men get harassed too, and it's vile, it's horrible. Some of the comments I've gotten on my videos are just disgusting. I'm pretty sure if Anita Sarkeesian got those comments, she'd curl up into a ball and start crying. But you guys don't address that. The reason you had this panel on women is because that is the politically correct thing to do. If you actually brought men up there and it was found out that women are harassed about the same as men, and that men get horrible, nasty comments too, well, people like Anita Sarkeesian would be out of a job. Her whole identity is based on men hating women and being horrible to women online. If it comes out that's not true, she's going to have to find something else to do with her time. She certainly wouldn't be on a panel at Vidcon.
There's a fairly prominent genre of social political commentary on the internet that focuses on specific individuals as a path to attack ideas and build outrage. These creators do not violate harassment policies, but the result is often that the vitriol of their followers ends up focused not on ideas, but on the people, usually women.
No, it's not usually women. It's anybody who's saying really stupid stuff. Yes, sometimes the fan bases get out of control, but that is not a creator's problem. The creator didn't do that. What we're talking about here is public figures making public statements and other people responding to it. There is nothing wrong with that.
Many people in these communities end up believing the righteous thing to do is threaten, harass, and dox the thinkers they're arguing with.
I've got a newsflash for you, Sparky. That goes both ways. Doxing is a really popular pastime for people on Anita's side.
Whether or not this is an intentional strategy to cultivate harassment or an awful side effect, the result is some of the worst discourse and most intense harassment on the internet. This year we had a contingent of attendees, some who paid, some who snuck in with fake passes, who had been either perpetrators of this harassment or had, for years, watched as the outrage they cultivated resulted in followers doxing, harassing, intimidating, and even threatening the lives of the creators on the panel.
Okay, we need to get something straight because this part keeps coming up and it's just a lie. It's an outright lie. Anita Sarkeesian recognized one person, Sargon of Akkad. That's it. She said, "You are a garbage person." She didn't say you're garbage people. The idea that she realized she was surrounded by people who made videos about her is ridiculous. She did not know. She recognized one goddamn person, Sargon. That's it. Please stop pretending that she was up there scared for her life because of all of the people who were in front of her. She didn't even know who they were.
It's difficult to imagine this group of people, who are aware that their channels have been base camps for years of harassment of some of our panelists, did not realize that their arriving early to fill up the 3 front rows of the panel was going to be intimidating. In any case, it looked like intentional intimidation to most people in attendance, and the panelists were understandably on edge throughout this discussion.
Where is the evidence that they were intimidated by these 3 front rows? One goddamn person was singled out. You're adding importance after the fact.
During the panel, a panelist called out one of the audience members for being someone who has made her life very difficult, and wished she didn't have to give him attention because he was human garbage.
She didn't have to give him attention. She could have ignored the fact that he was there. There was nothing compelling her to call him a shithead and tell him he was human garbage. That is a choice she made.
Look, we don't want our panelists to insult our audience members, even when we completely understand the comments exist in a much broader and pretty messed up context. Even when people have said hateful things that everyone in our office disagrees with, we have a policy, and it exists not just to protect the people at the show, but to protect our ability to have these conversations.
And you broke that policy because there were women on stage who were intimidated by people they didn't even know who were sitting quietly. And that makes sense to you.
Our founder, Hank Green, talked with our panelist and said 2 things. He told her that her comment had violated our policy, but that he understood that there was a broader context, which, to be clear, we were blissfully ignorant of until this weekend, and remain inexpert in.
So she broke the policy, but it's okay because you understand why. Because there was a guy sitting in the audience that she recognized who was being quiet and listening to what was going on. And again, this makes sense to you.
2, he apologized to her for not having been more aware and active in understanding the situation before the event, which resulted in her being subjected to a hostile environment that she had not signed up for.
Oh, dear God. A hostile environment she didn't sign up for. Let's go over the facts here. People were sitting quietly watching a panel discussion. At some point during this, Anita recognizes one of the audience members and decides to attack them directly. She's the one that made this hostile. The audience was doing what they were supposed to, sitting and listening. And you're going to sit here and blame the audience for her freaking out. Hank, usually I think of you as a pretty smart guy. I disagree with you on politics, but at least I can see where your thinking's coming from. In this case, I am bewildered. I do not understand this statement. I do not understand why you would apologize to a panelist because there was an audience who was sitting quietly listening to what was going on. What exactly about that is horrible? Even if everybody in that audience hated Anita Sarkeesian, as long as they were behaving themselves, that's what the audience is supposed to do. Now, the panelists are supposed to have their discussion among the panel. They're not supposed to lash out at the audience because they see somebody they don't like. The person owed an apology here is Sargon. It doesn't matter that he's made videos about her. He wasn't doing anything wrong. I just do not understand this apology. It makes literally no sense to me. And I would really like it if you would explain it. Now, I know the chances of you seeing this are very slim, but if you do, I really would like to understand why you would do this, why you would apologize to her for an audience sitting there quietly. Seems to me that's exactly what she signed up for. To sit on the stage, talk among the group, and ignore the audience as they sit quietly and listen. But you not only apologized to her, you let her go on to another panel even though she broke this rule. She's the one that was in the wrong here, and you apologized to her and let her keep going. I don't understand that. And I really would like to know how you thought that out, because it's not explained very well in the rest of this. Anyway, Hank, I'm going to wrap this up. There's more to this. The articles are linked below, but I think we've gone on long enough. If you enjoy what I do here, please consider becoming a Patreon supporter, buying a shirt or mug from the Monkey Store, or sharing this video with everybody you know. If you need more Monkey in your life, I do a nightly live stream with Scribelight and Some Dumb American. Links to their channels are below. We rotate which channel we're on each night, so follow everybody to make sure you keep up with it. Thank you so much for watching. I'm the Ranting Monkey, and I'll see you next time. Your life makes me sad.